So we did up until the fourth. I think we completed this. We completed this in the, because last session on New Year, we did a full chanting of the Dakshinamurti Stotram. I don't think we went into the meanings. But the previous session, we completed the third one. Yasyaiva spuranam sadatmakam asat kalparthakam bhasate sakshat tattvamasiti vedavachasa yo bodhayatyashritan yat sakshat karanat bhavenna punaravrittir bhavambho nidhau tasmai shri guru murtaye namaidam shri dakshinamurtaye. Okay, so we completed this one and we move on to the fourth one. So if somebody can just follow the chant. Nana chidra ghato darasthita maha
Nana chidra ghatotara maha
Deepa prabha bhaswaram Nana chidra ghato darasthita maha Deepa prabha bhaswaram
Nana chidra ghatodhara sthita mahadeepa prabhabhaswaram
Jnanam yasya tu chakshuradhikarana dvara bahispandate
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 Janamiti tameva bhantamanubhatyetat samastam jagat
Janamiti tameva bhantamanubhati etat samastam jagat
Janamiti tameva bhantamanubhatyetat samastam jagat
Janamiti tameva bhantamanubhati etat samastam jagat
Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye
Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namayidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye
Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye
Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namayidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye.
Very nice. So we'll see how this thing breaks up. Nana Chidra Ghata Udara. Nana Chidra. Nana na many variety. Nana na Hindi le amma oda appa na tata ku nana chulva.
Telangla appa liya.
Oh, Telangla nana garu amma appa. But in Sanskritam, nana means many variety. Nana Chidra. Chidra are holes. Ghata.
Telugu also nana. That is nana. Father is nana.
Oh, that difference. Okay, okay, okay. Kalpaka, you got that difference?
இல்ல எனக்கு ரெண்டுமே ஒரே மாதிரி தான் இருக்கு.
ஒரு எக்ஸ்ட்ரா நான் இருக்கு நான்னா.
நான்னா. Okay.
Nana in Telugu is also different. The same meaning as what is there in Sanskrit.
Variety is it? Oh, okay.
Nana Rupa, Nana Vidha. Nana
Vidha. So, Nana Chidra Ghata Udara. So, pot lavande. So, what he is saying here, this is a visual. See, the nice thing about Dakshinamurti Stotram is there are a lot of visuals that Adi Shankara is placing in front of us. First one we saw Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari. So you see the whole world as though you see a city in the rear view mirror. You see the whole world inside you as a reflection in the way you see a city in your rear view mirror. When you're driving out, you see the whole city in a small rear view mirror, you see it. So that is a visual he has given. Then adukapram the second visual he gave was in fact if somebody can paint these things it will be very nice. Bijasyanta rivankuro jagadidam prang nirvikalpam punah. So from a bija, how the tree comes, the whole world is painted by like a magician paints the whole painting. In that way, the painter Maya, the Maya Shakti is painted this whole thing, and it's come out from a bija, as though it's come out from a seed, like a tree is come out from a seed. The third one doesn't have so much of a visual, but yeah, the fourth one is about, he says how a pot, when you have holes in a pot, in the pot's belly, you have holes, and you keep a lamp inside. What will happen? The light will come out through those holes. Yeah? So nana chidra ghata udara sthita. So there is a ghata that is in its belly, in its udara. There are holes that are there, chidra, many holes. And inside that sthita, what is placed is Mahadeepa. There is a big deepa that is placed. In the Kalathilala, we get those things in the fancy stores. You keep a small candle or a tea light candle, and then you keep a kupi on the top, and that kupi has a lot of holes and things like that. And then when you keep it, when you turn off all the lights, it creates certain patterns on the walls and all that, right? So those are, so this is a visual like that. And in most of the cases, in his Vedantic descriptions everywhere, he uses ghata as an example. Adi Shankara uses ghata as an example, because in those times, I think, I'm not sure if metal would have been available, but I think most of the things you would use a ghata to do.
Cookery earthenware da mostly use பண்ணுவாங்க.
Earthenware,
Yeah.
most of the earthenware, most of the cookery utensils were earthenware. And then you can also drive a lot of Vedantic concepts using a pot. Ghata or a pot, using that, you can try to correlate many Vedantic concepts.
Yeah, clay pot.
Even Kabir also, in one of his bhajans, he brings out the ghata, matti.
Matki toot gayi.
It's something like that, yes.
You're right. Because it's very easy to compare the clay to the body or the pot to the body, because the clay is also made of the same substances that the body is made of, which is the earth, right? So the Pancha Mahabhutas it also exists in the pot or the clay, which becomes the pot. So to compare it with this body, which is also similar to clay, at the end of it, it becomes earth, right? The body becomes earth. So the visual imagery to say that the body is the same as the clay in the pot, the body that is there. So this is a made up pot. The body that we carry is a pot, is similar to a pot, and the material that the body is made of is the same as the material that the pot is made of, which is clay. At the end of it, ella mannadan solronla. So it's not a depressing statement, ella mannada. It is actually the truth. Ashes to ashes, everything is manna at the end of the day. Manna as in earth, all the Pancha Mahabhutas. That is what is manna. Now here he says inside the spot there is a Mahadeepam that is kept. Mahadeepa Prabha Bhaswaram. It is shining, Bhaswaram. So that Deepa it's a Mahadeepa. It is shining greatly. Okay. Then he says, Jnanam yasyatu chakshuhu adi karana dwara bahihi spandate. That's how you break this whole line. Jnanam yasyatu chakshuhu adi karana. Chakshuhu adi karana. So chakshur adi karana, which means all the karana. The karanas are your perceptive, the organs of sense perception. Antah karana, bahish karana. So these are all the bahish karanas, the organs of sense perception. Chakshuhu adi. So chakshu, ghrana, tvak, rasana, and what is this called? Shrotram, the Shrotra. So these are the 5 organs of sense perception, and through it's similar to this. So he's comparing how the pot, with the pot you have holes, there's a light that is kept and the light goes out of the pot. In the same way, this body is a pot which has holes. How many holes? 5 holes. Chakshuhu adi. Chakshuradi karana dwara bahihi spandate. Bahihi, it goes out. Right? So this the light that is within goes out and comes in through these 5 organs of sense perception. Okay. Then janami iti tam eva bhantam anubhati etat samastam jagat. Janami, I know, thus that this is it that is alone shining, and hence because of this shining the whole world is shining. This is the word meaning. You look at it, it's the word meaning. So what does it say? Similar to the great lamp which is placed inside a pitcher or a pot with holes and the lights shining outward, the knowledge that the knowledge that we gain of the external world is through these holes that we have within us, right? The eyes and the other sense perceptive organs. To know that knowledge, to have that knowledge that it is this light that is alone that is shining. By this light's shine, everything else shines. The entire world shines because I am shining. The one who knows this, janami iti, the one who knows this, he is Dakshinamurti. To that Dakshinamurti, I salute. So what is happening here? The visual that Adi Shankara is creating, he's trying to explain a very, very profound concept here. And we've touched upon this concept several times before, which is because I exist, everything else exists. Right? In fact, there is a Western philosopher by the name, what's his name? René Descartes. René Descartes. There was a Western philosopher by the name René Descartes.
The Cartesian system kandupidichara avara.
So René Descartes. So he had a theory called cogito ergo sum, which means I think, therefore I exist. Okay, I think, therefore I exist was his understanding, because the way he analyzed the whole experience of the world, he says that just because I think, I exist. If I don't think, I don't exist, which means my existence is predominantly my perception in my head. Okay, but what Vedanta says is because I am there, everything else exists. The I am. So I had written a book. There's a book that I published called I Think versus I Am. So it is an interesting comparison between Western philosophy and Vedantic philosophy. It's a small book that I've written. But the interesting thing there is the way Vedanta looks at it is, because I am, everything else exists. Right? So think about it. If the conscious principle that you are does not exist, the whole world doesn't exist. The whole world that you are perceiving today, right now, the perception of this whole world that is there is because you are there. If you dissolve, if you don't exist, if you are not there, does this world exist? It doesn't matter. So the question drops, right? If I am not there, does this world exist? The question drops for me. Because there is no objective world out there. The world that we experience is a subjective world. Right? Now, this experience of subjectiveness is extremely important in Vedanta, because Vedanta, you will see everything, it will bring it back to you. Like Ramana always says, any question you go to Ramana, he will take that question and bring it back to who am I? He will say, you first find out who am I, and then all the other answers will fall in place, or all the other questions will fall in place, or all the other questions will fall. They don't need a place, they will all fall, because the questions will not make any sense anymore. Like saying, if I don't exist, does the world exist? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter because I don't exist. So the world matters only when I exist. So that is the line he says, that the light that is shining from within, there is something that's shining within, which is making everything operate. My everything. So when I say everything, my bodily functions, my emotions, my breathing and all the vital airs that I have, the pancha prana, prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana, all these pancha vayus that I have, my emotions, my mind, my buddhi, my energies, everything is operating in the presence of that light which is inside me. Because of that light, everything else is operating. Number, a lot of times you would see, particularly when you look at websites, in websites you will have something written as powered by, or if there are some products, there will be something written as powered by, which means what powers the activity of that particular entity is what we are talking about. I'm a male, I am this height, this is my weight, this is my character, this is my nature, this is this is what I like, this is what I dislike, this is what I want to do, this is what I don't want to do. All of this are in the realm of duality. My gender, my dispositions, my aspirations, my likes, dislikes, everything is in the realm of duality. And if you notice, throughout your life, you would have seen this. You've grown from whatever age, what you remember. Some remember when I was 5 years old. Some remember when they were 3 years old. Some remember when they were 1 year old. From whatever point of time you remember your life, you notice that you have changed through time. You have changed means everything about you has changed. The way your body has changed, which means it's grown from what it was so small to this large. What you think about has changed. When you were small, all you could care about possibly was that toy that you wanted, or probably that chocolate that we wanted, or that ice cream that we did not get. That is the world. I mean, it's like if you don't get it, like the other day, I remember there was a friend, we visited a friend's house, and this little boy, we got into the lift, and he's a 2-year-old boy, and he always wants to be the one to press the lift button. So he didn't get that day. What happened is we were all talking and going, and the mother pressed the lift button, and this boy created a ruckus. Oh my God. He was crying crazily. You did not allow me to press the lift button. It is always me who should press the lift button. The mother is like, I'm so sorry, Da. I'm so sorry. I forgot. Imagine the boy's focus at that time. All that he cared about was that pressing that lift button. And the lift button அமுக்கலனா அவனுக்கு வாழ்க்கையே போன மாதிரி ஆயிடுத்தப்போ அழுன்னு அழுதுன்றான். So the priorities changed, and we don't do that now, right? We don't stand up in the lift, and if I don't get to press the lift button, we don't cry. We are like,
In fact, nobody wants to press the lift button these days.
இப்போ கொரோனானால nobody wants to press anything.
Yeah.
Everybody waits for the other person to press now. So the condition is that these things changed, our priorities changed, right? Our body has changed, our thinking has changed, what matters to us has changed. The way we see the world has changed. What we want to achieve has changed over so many years. But the I that you recognize has not changed. Right? That I that we recognize, that I was this, I was this, I was this, I am this, I will be this. The I was, I am currently this, the this and the that keeps changing. But the I does not change. Because you have a singular continuous experience of what I am. This is what Ramana tries to point out all the time. Ramana Maharshi tries to point out, to look at that I am. That I am does not change. So what Shankara is pointing out is that I am, it is because of that these sense organs of perception, the organs of motor organs of action, they're all functioning. If in that pot you take the lamp out, the Mahadipam, how many ever holes you create, there'll be no light. Right? It doesn't matter how many holes you create. I can attach another ear, I can attach 2 more eyes. Indra had 1,000 eyes, Sahasrakshina avarku pere, because he got cursed by Gautama Rishi. It's a different story. But even if I'm going to have 1,000 eyes on my body, if that light inside me is not there, then it doesn't matter. It's of no use, right? So he's pointing us to that Nana Chidra Ghatodhara Sthita Mahadripa Prabha Bhaswaram. Similar to that, Jnanam Yasya tu Chakshuradikarana Dwara Bahispandate. This light goes out from this body of clay or pot, this ghata that we are. All the organs of sense perception that brings the input outside, inside, from the outside. These are the organs of sense perception. My eyes, my nose, my skin, my ears, and my tongue. These are all bringing in data from outside into inside. And my motor organs, organs of karma. These are called karmendriyas, which is my hands, my legs, my speech, my excretory process, and my reproductive organ. All of these are organs of karma, kriya. These organs, both of them they do their functions. The input and the output both happen because of this Mahadipam that is there within us. And the one who knows this, Janami iti tameva bhantam anubhatyetat samastam jagat, that because of this light, everything else shines. There's a beautiful Upanishadic line. I'll just chant that line and we'll stop at 5:33 now. What is that?
Tatvasana Tatvamayi Tatvamata.
No, not that one. Anubhati tat samastam jagat. No, I'm getting confused with this one. The other one is actually a Vedic mantra. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyuto bhati kutoyam agnihi tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. The sun or the moon, na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. It is not shining on its own. What is the presence of the Surya or the Chandra? Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema kutyuto bhati nema vidyuto bhati kutoyam agnihi. From where does the Agni get its power? Na vidyuto bhati kutoyam agnihi tameva bhantam anubhati. So it comes here, right? Bhantam anubhati etat samastam jagat. Tameva bhantam anubhati tasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati. Here, from here, It is because of this that shines, everything else shines. It is because of this that is shining within me, even the sun or the moon or the fire shines. Because I am the one that gives power to that. Because if I don't exist, the Suryan or the Chandran or the Agni, they don't have any consequence in this world. Whether they exist or not doesn't really matter. I am the one who gives them the presence. I am the one who gives them, I acknowledge that they exist. Because I exist, I acknowledge their existence, and hence they have meaning. So it's a very, very powerful way to look at the whole. So it actually, see, look at these are all concepts or ideas that are empowering, very empowering, which means, see, which is why Vedanta, Shastra, or the Sanatana Dharma never says that you're a sinner. It will never claim that we are sinners. It will always say that you're a spark of the divine, which means we have that spark of the divine. All we have to do is recognize that, and then it will glow. The glowing is not subdued right now. The glowing is happening. It is just that it's covered with ignorance. All we have to do is, it's like saying the mirror to reflect something. Do we need to do something to do we need to do additionally anything to the mirror? Nothing. All we have to do is wipe out the dust on the mirror. So the moment that the dust is wiped out, the mirror will instantaneously reflect. That's the nature of the mirror. It will instantaneously reflect. Similar to saying, if there is a cave that has been dark for 5,000 years, 5,000 years of dense darkness, the cave has never seen light. And if you take light, will it take 100 years to brighten up? No, it will not say 5,000 years it's been dark and I take light, let it take 100 years to slowly brighten up. No, instantaneously it will brighten up. So that's the beauty. So he says, the moment you recognize that this light within us, that light is me, and that is the true me. The aham that I am, the I, is truly that light, and it's because of me everything else is functioning. Right? So that is the beautiful shloka.
But
So,
Anna, one doubt. And when you said that the moon and the sun and fire don't exist if I don't exist, and my existence is through my five senses. But the thing is, even if I close my eyes, like for what I was thinking, like if I close my eyes, the sun kind of disappears, right? But then through other means, I still do get the benefits of what the sun gives us. Like the moon, it still will, even if I don't see the moon, I'm staying inside. If I don't see the moon for days, it still affects my mind.
it affects your mind. How do you know that? See, we are talking about this, the conscious principle that is operating. See, right, when you go to sleep right now, when you go to sleep, are you conscious about deep sleep?
No.
There's no consciousness of deep sleep, but there is a conscious entity or a conscious principle. You're talking about the Jagrat Avastha, the aspect of you that is active during the waking state. I'm not talking about that. You're looking at the aspect that is active during the waking state. There is an aspect of what we are truly, consciousness, which is active during the waking, dreaming, and the deep sleep. Which is what is called as Atma, whatever names we give it, right? The I, the capital I.
Adhika, we don't need the senses, that are the holes in the pot. Adu moolamadan that shines nu sollartha. We don't need the senses for that, right?
No, we don't need the senses for that. But the senses need that to operate. What it's saying is the senses need that to operate. The senses require this power source. what you call as consciousness, what you call as the I, the senses require this to operate, to be able to receive from the outside world and to function in the outside world.
Okay.
Right? What you're pointing out is, even if I go to sleep and even if I don't exist, there are things that continue to happen. Now, how do I realize that? How do I recognize that? Right? The point is, when you become conscious, whenever this consciousness is dawned upon you, when you know something, that is when again it starts making sense to you. See, for example, now if I'm not in this room and I go out of this room, are things happening in the room? I don't know. Right? But whenever my perception of the room comes into my, or whenever the room comes into my perception, in whatever form, somebody tells me about the room, or I myself come and see it, in whatever form, it is when it's my conscious experience is activated, that is when the room exists for me. Till then, it doesn't exist for me. Right? There are natural principles that may be occurring. There may be, like, for example, even if I go to a different, if I'm sleeping, does how do I put this? Does the effect of the eclipse continue to have on my body? Yes, it will continue to have on your body. But you're talking about the sleeping self. We are talking about that consciousness that's not sleeping. The I consciousness, which is not sleeping, that's not the sleeping consciousness. Because that consciousness is available or aware even during the sleeping state, even during the waking state. Even during all these, see, today, you know Shivakami as whatever so many years, you have slept through all your life, but you still feel a continuity of yourself. We are talking about that I. We are talking about that I that has always been there, always aware. So now the question is, can that become unaware? Can that consciousness become unaware? Right? No. So which is the point? So it says, and again, it's a much deeper conversation to say that that consciousness, that I am, is not my I. It is the same I. It is a singular consciousness. Right? But it's a little, it has to grow upon us to get to that recognition that it's the same I that is actually pulsating through everybody. And it's like saying it's a plot of land on which different trees are growing. It's the same principle. It's the same earth. It's the same earth's principle of growth that is making these trees grow. So we are different plants and trees that are growing in that same principle of I. Because I is not different for each one. So that I can never be unaware of itself.
So here in Nana Chidra Ghatodara Sthitamaha Deepa Prabhan Jwalarta, the Deepam is that I that is the same. But he's using the holes, our senses. So he's only talking about the waking state.
No. What he's trying to say is that even in the dream state, you have sense organs operating. Even in the dream state, you experience your sense organs, right? So that is also happening there. So what he is trying to say is that it is the whatever that you're experiencing as an individual, it's because of this deepam. That deepam that is there. Okay, it's like saying I light a candle and I keep it in this deepam. I light another candle and keep. Are the flames two different flames? The flames are essentially one. In principle, the flames are essentially one. So he's just pointing out that two aspects he's pointing out. One is it's this light. It's because of this light that all of this is functioning. And the second thing is that the one who knows that he is this light, he knows that everything else is existing because of this conscious principle.
Okay.
Because of this conscious principle, anything that the objective world has meaning because of the subjective principle. So anyways, I get it. It's not, it'll take a little while to constantly work on it and grow.
Whatever goes out is a perception. And that's not necessarily real. It's like and put it in the pot. If the pot has different shape holes, then the shadows that it makes will be of different shapes.
It'll all be
Even
different.
if the light is the same.
Exactly.
Put it in two different pots. But that doesn't mean that what's inside is still the same, even though it's making different shapes outside.
True. So what is there is the same. The source is still the same. What it is powered by is still the same. Yeah. So we'll continue this conversation. Next week we'll continue on this. Om Kayena Vacha Manasendriya Vabudhyatmana Prakriti Swavat Karomi Iti Sakalam Parasmai. Okay, we'll